In today's video, we're going to be talking about everything you need to know about the second stimulus package for this week. Now, I hope you guys had a good weekend. There are a couple things we need to cover, and we have a lot of good news coming up as well. So let's get straight into the video. Over this past weekend, we got confirmation from Steve Mnchuchin in an interview with Fox News that the next Republican stimulus package details would be released today at 4:30 p.m. Eastern Time. I think this is going to be the most exciting news we have so far because it's finally confirmation on us actually moving forward. This time, it better be good because this was supposed to come out last week, but they went ahead and pushed it aside to having people wait for today, which is supposed to be the unofficial day that they actually give out news on the second CARES Act. Now I know how my high school teachers felt when they said an essay was due on Friday, but then I said, you know what, I don't feel like giving it out on Friday. Let's go on my time and I'll give you the essay on Monday. It sucks, it's irresponsible, and right now, there are much more things at stake rather than a student's grades. We're talking about the welfare of the American people. So very disappointing that all this got pushed aside. But today, I hope we see some news. I hope we see some decent news and that we do not have failed expectations on what's included in the next stimulus package. Now, let's go ahead and talk about some things that are actually ending in the next few weeks with regards to the benefits that we've been seeing in the past. For anyone who's on the $600 federal unemployment boost benefit, the enhancement for these checks were sent as the final ones a few days ago. The official end date to this is going to be July 31st. So depending on what day you watch this video, this may have actually ended. We should expect to see some additional news on other additional federal unemployment boost benefits, but it's not going to be anywhere near the $600 range that we've seen in the past. For hazard pay or workers boost, which means if you're going out and you're working right now and you get additional money along with your paycheck. For anyone who remembers a few months back, we had that one senator. He was named Senator Schumer, and he was pushing this really hard in front of our political leaders. He was pushing this hard because this was during a time when we were realizing that federal unemployment boost was a lot, not many people were working, and they wanted to come up with an alternative solution in order to give back to the people that are working at the moment. He claimed that this was one of our highest priorities, and we were seeing some traction with this with media outlets, but over time, it seems like the news on this kind of died down as stimulus talk went up. The House had already passed a bill with hazard pay in the past, but will Congress finally provide the additional confirmation on this bill? Only time will tell. At the moment, if I prioritize the likelihood of additional money that we may see from the government, I would rank the unemployment boost benefits second. I would actually put the stimulus checks number one, and for hazard pay, I would put that underneath that. And then we would see all the additional benefits from what goes inside of the GOP stimulus bill that they are set to release later today as the additional benefits that go underneath all of these. I place stimulus checks as number one because we're getting a lot of mutual bipartisan agreement with the stimulus checks. Before, we had a lot of disagreement saying they don't need it, we don't need to do another one, it's too expensive, yada, yada, yada. Right now, what we're seeing is the fact that everyone is still in agreement for the stimulus checks, and we got multiple confirmation last week from many different leaders on the fact that the second stimulus check will be a thing. Now, there's been countless amount of articles talking about the speculation with what's going to go inside of the next CARES Act number 2 that is proposed by our Republican leaders. I'm really excited to see what they're going to include in their package and how this is going to be different from the Democratic package. All I'm going to say is if the Republicans' version of the stimulus package is very similar to the Democrats' version, we're going to get a lot of upset people. The reason is because the Democrats went ahead and proposed the HEROES Act. And yes, there were a lot of proponents that many people were upset with. There were a lot of fluff. There were a lot of things that they included into that 1,800-page bill. But at the same time, they went ahead and included many factors that would be helping people out to this day. Guys, this was 2 freaking months ago. And during that time, we had leaders take a full month's vacation. And if they have any huge similarities with the HEROES Act, that pretty much makes it feel like we've had 2 months of nothing, 2 months of people suffering, 2 months of no real news, and 2 months of people just waiting during that time. This next GOP stimulus package better have a lot of good, interesting components that justify that 2-month gap that we've seen with the first Democratic HEROES Act. The saying time is money is a little cliche, but in this instance, time is literally money. The longer this takes for our politicians to come to an agreement, the more it's going to cost us in money. Not just them, not just the people, pretty much the entire US and even any other countries associated with us. With nearly 40 countries reporting single-day bumps over the past few weeks and Florida surpassing New York in confirmed cases, we are far from over with this pandemic. It's so disappointing to see our politicians not having a true emphasis on the struggles that people have. We are supposed to be the greatest country in the world, but we are simply not showing up to that. I really hope the news that we receive this week isn't going to be a complete fail and disappointment. I really hope the 2 months of waiting that people have had anxiously is going to be justified with the next news that we hear. With the way things are progressing and we are nearing the first month of August, and guys, time is flying. I cannot believe we're almost in August in 2020. They're going to have a week from the first day of August for us to see something. Otherwise, it's going to get pushed back way, way further. We've seen the American people come together, rally up, and riot in things that people are unified for. I really hope that we don't ever get to a place like that again in this country. But when there's a silent majority of people that aren't being heard, that's the result that we're going to have. Now, in other news, other popular investments like gold and silver are hitting some all-time highs. And I definitely wanted to talk about this because we are considered a finance, credit card, whatever channel we are now. So I wanted to mention that there are other investments that are rising up right now. I know stock investing is at an all-time high during this season, but keep in mind there are ways to diversify your portfolio and you should never have your eggs all in one basket. Precious metal, cryptocurrency are all different ways for you to diversify your investments, and Bitcoin right now just hit $10,000 in the first time in 6 weeks. If you're someone who's struggling right now, don't even think about investing. If you have to pay for your bills, do not worry about this type of news. Don't get caught up with the fear of missing out on investments or hearing people becoming multimillionaires from investing in Tesla stocks 3 years ago. Don't worry about all the news right there. If you're watching content right now on stimulus package and stimulus checks, chances are you should be doing a much finer job on budgeting your money. And the last thing you should be thinking about is investing money that you may not have. All I'm going to say is make sure that you are diversified with your investments. And during this time, you are going to be very careful with the investments that you choose to make. So let me know what you guys thought of today's video down below in the comments. Do you guys think the next stimulus package is going to be meeting the expectations that the people have, or do you think it's going to be a complete flop? Do you think our politicians are taking way longer, or do you think this time is justified with what is coming up? Let me know your thoughts down below. And like always, thank you guys so much for watching. You guys are all incredible. I hope you guys have an amazing day. And thank you guys so much for all the recent support on my videos. You guys are actually insane. And hopefully I can continue to provide you guys some real value with the stimulus check updates. Thank you again for tuning by. Much love to everyone and have a beautiful, beautiful day. Peace.